Hey, business communication students, Professor Norman here with a week 15 check-in for you. Hope everybody's doing okay as we are racing towards the end of this semester and this final project. We're just about done. As I'm recording this on Thursday morning, I've had a chance to look at the report rough drafts. I just want to take a second to say, first and foremost, great job. Working together with your teams and getting something submitted. Even if it wasn't all the way finished, I looked through all of them and I saw good things in every single submission that was put together, even if it was incomplete. That's okay. And if you didn't see, for anybody that submitted, I just gave points for having something. I wasn't too picky about, like whether it was complete or not. I know that it's a tough task, and I think that, as is the case with a lot of these types of peer reviews, especially our peer reviews this semester, sometimes the best thing that can be done is you just submit something, you see what everybody else is doing, that helps you kind of go, oh, okay, and then you get some feedback as well. So I hope that that's been useful for you guys over the last few days as you've gone into that folder and checked that out. One thing I do want to say about that before I forget, if you haven't gotten a chance to go in and give some feedback, there's still an opportunity to do that. Let's go ahead and get that done, though, today, Thursday, as I'm recording this now. Thursday, which would be April the 29th. I'm going to go in tomorrow morning, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to start divvying out the points for participation, for giving feedback and stuff like that. So today will be the last day that I'll accept any peer review points for going in and giving feedback on things. A lot of people already have. You met that Wednesday night deadline. I appreciate that. Things happen. I understand. Today's a good day to catch up and get that done. There are several reports that don't have a lot of feedback on them, so now would be a good time to do that. I provided some feedback on all the reports. I think I tried to provide at least 5 comments on every single report so that I could say I did my part, but I might not have caught everything. I know I didn't catch everything. And there are some things that I saw other people comment, like, hey, that's a good comment, and I might have mentioned it, hey, this is good, do this, or I might not have. So, if you have any questions about the feedback that you receive, whether it's from me or any of your classmates, be sure to reach out to me and let me know. I'm glad to assist as you're revising and finishing things up. I wanted to share just a couple of kind of like general observations about the reports that I saw. One of the things that I just kind of wanted to touch on was the kind of report style, formatting, design, whatever you want to call it exactly, and what that's supposed to look like. Just a couple of reminders, and you should be seeing these on the screen as I'm talking about them. You want to make sure that we follow that format that's in the textbook as much as possible, chapter 15. It's not the only way to do it, but it's the way that, if all else fails, go back and do it like that. So we're talking about single spacing, all the paragraphs, and then just include a blank line between paragraphs. No indentations on the first lines or anything like that. That's very essay style, and we don't want to do that. Remember to use section headers and subsection headers. A lot of people are getting the section headers part, but I also encourage you to break it down even further and do those section headers that kind of go more to the left-hand side and are bolded, just because that really enhances the scannability. Along the same lines, use lists and use very short paragraphs to keep things simple. Again, avoid that essay style length of writing, which, as an English teacher, for many, many years, and I teach English composition, I love seeing it, but it's not totally right for the report style that we're doing. We want, short, easy to scan, easy to read, bite-sized paragraph chunk. Break those up and use the headers and the lists and things like that, again, just to make it short and sweet. Of course, the other thing, and I've mentioned this a couple times, is the visuals. You have the option to use visuals and graphs. It's a great idea. Just make sure that as you do it, that you put all the required pieces in there. So you put it with the relevant recommendation or the relevant information. Don't separate it on a different page, or don't put it at the end of the report. Make sure that you name the visuals and graphs. A very simple way to do it is just to call them a figure, figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, however many you have. Make sure to mention them in the paragraphs in the text, and that's with just a very simple little signal phrase like, see in figure 1 below how, and then you explain what it shows in figure 1. And then also one thing you have to do, and I don't think I've mentioned this, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it now, include a list of illustrations. That's a requirement if you have any figures, and you can call it a list of figures or whatever, but include a list of that in the table of contents. That's usually done separately. You can check out the example in chapter 15 for an idea of how to do that. And then the other thing I just wanted to talk to you guys about is just the source use element. One thing that I just want to kind of re-emphasize here, I didn't see anything that was particularly egregious, but it's just kind of a general reminder. This is a research-based report, so make sure that you're citing your research as you reference ideas that might have come from research. Yeah, it's good to have the works cited page or the references page at the end of the report, but if they're not in-text citations, then it is technically plagiarism, because it's impossible to tell what's your idea and what's an idea from a source, and that gets into that muddy gray area that would be considered plagiarism. So we don't want that to happen. Make sure that you just, mention it as you're talking about it, according to such and such website, according to such and such article, according to so and so. You don't have to get into the weeds of like, oh well, what do I, do I put the parentheses here or stuff? You can do that. Feel free to do that if that's something that you feel comfortable with. But just think about it in a very casual, not casual necessarily, but natural sounding way. If you're mentioning something from someone, you got to give them a shout out. It's only fair. So make sure to mention it, as a part of the sentence where you're explaining some factual information. That's really important, because one of the things that you have to do is you have to offer evidence for why your recommendations are good recommendations. You can't just go in and say, well, I guess it could do more group work. Right? You want to make sure that you have some evidence to prove that, this is something that would be attractive to students, that would engage students, right? If you're offering certain types of events, well, why do you know that those events will be interesting? Is there a trend, something you can find in a very simple bit of Googling online, some news stories or something like that to show the prominence or the popularity of this? Are there other universities that are doing this? And you could just kind of cite their pages. According to the student activities page at Indiana State University, they are going to blank, 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 and blank. Vincennes University should do blank, 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 and blank. It's very simple, but very, very important. And it's one of those things that kind of takes it from a muddy kind of, I don't know if that's really a good idea or not, to, oh, okay, they're doing all this? Okay, yeah, we maybe want to do it too. Very simple, but very, very important. That's all I've got as far as the recommendations goes. Real quick, let me just kind of hit a couple of other quick updates. The presentation, I mentioned in class on Monday or Tuesday, depending on when we meet, and in the check-in video last week, and it's also posted in the directions. You are welcome to complete the presentation in a number of different ways. If you are able to do it all on your own, and you got somebody that's going to be able to kind of like, compile all that together and send that to me, or if you guys are able to facilitate a one record presentation situation, and you can just send me a link, then great. You just submit that and you're done. If you need a little bit of assistance, if there's something where we need to meet together either on Zoom or in person, please just reach out to me as soon as possible. This is definitely not something that you want to wait until like Wednesday or Thursday next week and say, yeah, we don't know how to do the video thing. Let me help with that, but figure it out soon. Even if you don't have the presentation all the way done, just be making plans for how are you going to get it to me. And I've already had one team contact me about us meeting in person, which is great. I look forward to meeting some of you guys for the first time. But whatever works for you guys, I am glad to help with. Just remember that there are some time constraints that are involved. We need everything to be done by noon on May the 7th. May the 7th. At least the presentation part. I don't care if you take a couple of extra hours to do the final status report. And then the only other thing that you have to keep in mind is if you haven't done the interview project, make sure that you're doing the interview project. So that's kind of the major updates I have for you guys. One thing that you'll see shortly also is that we have our great honor student, Olga, who has produced another video. This one is about kind of writing and planning and not brainstorming, well, a little bit of brainstorming, but revising and editing. So she's got some good strategies and skills to follow through with that. As you're getting into the mindset of trying to finish up the written report part, it'd be a good idea to take 5 or 6 minutes just to review that video, and it'll kind of align your mind towards some of the things that you need to do through the revision and editing process or the writing process, because there are a couple of reports that still have some sections that need to be written, and that's okay. That's okay. But let Olga help you out with that with her great video. And besides that, of course, just let me know if there's anything I can do to help. I know I went a little bit long with this video, but that's just because there's so much stuff that I want you guys to get exactly right so that you can get the most points possible. So let me know if there's anything I can do to help. I'm glad to answer any emails. And of course, I have an office hour tomorrow, Friday, as I'm recording recording this, next Monday, and throughout the week. Office hours will be the same through finals week as well. So plenty of opportunity to get some feedback from me and get some help. We just need to keep going, stay strong, and finish up as best as we can. Stay safe and stay healthy and stay as positive as possible. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help.